everybody, I'm glad you're here. 1.6 Shakuhachi is sometimes considered the Haru no Umi flute. Haru no Umi is a very popular piece for shakuhachi and koto, which was composed by the koto player Michio Miyagi in 1929. Unfortunately, it's not possible to play it with the longer shakuhachi, for example with the standard 1.8 shakuhachi, because the koto cannot be tuned down this far. But most shakuhachi players like the piece and want to play it, so that's where the need for a 1.6 comes in. But apart from this piece, there is not much that is played on 1.6, and especially if you are focusing on honkyoku, like I do, there are not many opportunities to use it. So, because it's not used that much, I had the idea that I can maybe get away with not getting a flute from Miura Ryoho as I usually do, because on the one hand the flutes made by Mr. Miura are pretty much the best flutes you can get, especially for playing KSK repertoire, but on the other hand they are very expensive. So I always had an eye out for a cheaper flute that would still do the job. A few weeks ago, at the latest ESS summer school in Dublin, I got this instrument here. The maker is Kawasemi, and he said I can try the flute for a few weeks before making a decision. By the way, that's always a good sign that you're dealing with a good maker. Avoid makers that try to rush you into making a decision or get cranky when you want to try a flute for more than 2 or 3 days. It can take some time to really know if a shakuhachi is for you or not. You can overlook certain things at first, and you may also find you quickly get used to some of the idiosyncrasies of the instrument. And all shakuhachi have some idiosyncrasies, so you always have to adapt to the instrument to a certain degree. The maker was very eager to get feedback on his flutes, which gave me the idea for this video, and of course that maybe for you it is interesting to hear what I'm thinking after having tried a new instrument for a few weeks. And because this is YouTube, I probably need to make this disclaimer. I bought the flute at full price, so this is definitely not a sponsored video. I'm linking to Kawasemi's webpage in the description below. And once you're down there, that's an excellent opportunity to like this video, to subscribe to my channel, and ring the notification bell. Thank you! So, let's start with the outer appearance of this flute. This is very nice bamboo, marake bamboo. It has a good density, as you can see when you look at the notes up here. It has red G inside. My other flutes have black G. So, the lacquer that's inside is red. So this one is red. The nakatsugi, so the middle joint here, is very colorful. Somebody at the summer school remarked this is maybe one of the very few places where shakuhachi makers can be a bit creative, because everything else is pretty standard for making a shakuhachi. So this is very colorful. It's certainly very unusual. Then I noticed there is a bit of G at the top of the hole, so not inside but here, and there is a bit of green paint down here at the bottom. I honestly don't care about these things. For me, it's just about the playability and the sound. Even on my best days, I think that shakuhachi are weird looking instruments really. Their aesthetics escapes me. They are all unique, which is pretty cool. So every flute is made from a unique piece of bamboo, so they all look a bit different. This is really a nice aspect about shakuhachi, but other than that, I can't really get excited about the looks. But let me also say that if you get the flute from the ultra perfectionist Miura Ryoho, you won't get things like this where you have a bit of G here on top, but you also pay a multiple of the price. So let's go through a few aspects I noticed when I was trying the instrument over the last month. The bamboo, the material and the bore itself is thinner than I'm used to. So this, for example, is my 1.8, and as you can see, this is quite a bit wider. The sound quality resulting from this is different than in my other flutes, but it's also nice, I think. But also very nice. So just as a point of reference, this is my 1.8. The sound, I'm not really sure how to best describe it, but it sounds a bit more delicate, I think. Or maybe a bit more refined would be a nicer word, maybe. But I really like this sound color as well. And for Haru no Umi, I think it suits the piece quite well. So this is the start of Haru no Umi. On my 1.8. Of course, the pitch is different, but it also has a different sound color, I think. So, just as a reference, construction-wise, the chin rest here is protruding a bit. It's not super comfortable for me. I got used to it over the last few weeks, but this sticks out a bit. So maybe I need to take some material and smooth this out a bit. I can't really shave off anything here because this is already quite small for what I'm used to. So, but yeah, maybe I'll add a bit of material here. So now to the most important criteria, the basic notes, they are all in tune. Without that I have to adjust anything. So this is an absolute must if you want to have a good instrument. And this is really nice, I think. The basic notes also have all the same volume or the same strength. So there also I don't have to adjust playing a note softer or pushing a bit for a note to keep the same volume. It responds very well, which means the notes come quite quickly after I start them. Sometimes I'm pushing too much, which means I'm blowing too hard into the instrument. So this definitely needs a bit of adaptation on my side, but I think this is mainly because of the diameter of this flute. I have one other flute which also is has a very small diameter, and I have to play that a bit careful for my taste, so I can't really just blow as I usually do. The embouchure that I have to use feels a bit closer towards Shinobue technique, which means I have to use these muscles here more than I usually do on my other shakuhachi. And I also think this is probably because of the smaller diameter of the bore. Then another few points. Generally, to play merry notes, I have to go lower than I am used to. So tsumeri, for example. Yeah, this is a very common phrase for playing honkyoku. This is a bit more needs a bit more fine motor skills than on my other flutes. I think one of the main reasons is that there are no notches here at this hole and at this hole up here. As you can see on my 1.8, there is a little notch here and up here. This is for playing tsumeri and for playing rimeri and controlling these notes, because for these notes you have to go very low. And just having this little extra opening, this makes it easier to play this. The maker offered to change that for me, or to show me how to do this myself. I'm not 100% sure how comfortable I feel making these changes myself. This reminds me a bit of when I got my 2.4 and Mr. Matama, so one of the three main KSK players, was there, and he didn't hesitate to bring out the sanding paper and really file off quite a lot. at the chin rest, which really improved the flute for me. But after having paid a lot of money for the instrument and then having somebody immediately take to it and modify it, yes, it was quite an experience for me. But he did a very nice job, so that was very nice of him to do this for me. But this also means I personally am hesitating quite a lot to just go in there and change something because I'm not really sure what I'm doing. So maybe I'll wait for another opportunity when I meet him again, the maker Kawasemi again, and then maybe he can change this for me. I don't think it's a very big change. The most difficult note on Shakuhachi, Daimeri of Kanoro, same as repitch. As you can see, this was way too high. So this is very tricky playing this on this flute. As it's mainly a Haru no Umi flute, I don't think it's a big problem. But it is more difficult than on my other flutes. Re Daimeri, so which is the same as 2-pitch, 2.5 steps down from Re. Here I also need to get lower than I used to. Then playing San no Ha. Which is half a step above Go no Ha or Ro Daikan. This is a bit more fiddly than on my other flutes as well, which is a bit unfortunate because this note is used in playing Haru no Umi quite a bit. But I learned it playing this for Haru no Umi this way rather than. So I think I probably can live with this as well. It's just something I noticed, and because of course I used this flute mainly to play Haru no Umi so far, this stuck out when I got familiar with this instrument. So I don't think it bothers me, and I'll probably really only notice once I start preparing for a performance. So once I start preparing probably Haru no Umi for a performance. Then finally, for the notes and for fingering, Hi and Himeri work a bit differently than I am used to. So in Keisuke Honkyoku, we play a lot of this Chiru pattern. And this Hi needs a lot of kari. So yeah, I think it's okay. With more practice, I'll get there. So overall, this is a very nice flute. Some things are different from what I'm used to, and I think this is partly because that this flute is from a different maker than I am used to. But the other part, I think, is reflected in the price. While the main aspects, tuning, volume of basic notes, quality of bamboo, craftsmanship, are all really very, very good, there are some finer aspects of the playability which can be better for me, for my playing, for my personal playing, and which are better for my needs in the other flutes. But of course, the other flutes also cost a multiple of this one. So I think overall, this is a really nice flute. I really like playing it. It's different in character from the other flutes. And all the things that I mentioned here that may sound like criticism are mainly really meant to mean that I just need to get used to this more. And this won't happen over just a few weeks. This probably will take half a year or something like that. Okay, so I hope you found this useful. Kawasemi, if you watch this video, I hope you like what I make of your flute. For everybody else, I hope you found this useful to hear my thoughts about a new instrument after having played it for a bit. Maybe this helps you when you consider buying your own flute, or you're in a shop and you have 5 flutes to choose from, and maybe this gives you an idea or two on what to look out for in a good flute that would be suitable for your own needs. Thanks as always for watching. Thanks to my patrons for supporting the making of these videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!